right. Hello, class. This is my first lecture, okay? I'm going to be lecturing for you guys so that things will continue as they were when we were face to face. Except that now I'm going to do videos so you guys can see my videos and repeat them if you have to, and then try the homework, okay? I gave you a homework handout, okay? And so you know what homework to do. Of course, it also has the sections. It has everything, okay? All right, so today I will do section 3.3 and 3.4, okay? Section 3.3 and 3.4. In section 3.3 we are doing complex numbers, okay? Complex numbers. We're going to multiply complex numbers, we're going to add complex numbers, and so on. Multiply, add, subtract, divide complex numbers, okay? I'm going to go straight to the point because this is Math 11, okay? And you guys should already know what a complex number is, okay? So just to go back a little bit, what's a complex number? A complex number is A plus BI, where this A is called the real part, and this B is called the imaginary part. A is the real part. B is the imaginary part, okay? Now I'm going to take two complex numbers and I'm going to add them. So 5 plus 3i plus 2 minus 7i. So here we have the first complex number, 5 plus 3i. 5 is the real part, 3 is the imaginary part. Added to addition. To what? To 2 minus 7i. 2 is the real part. Negative 7 is the imaginary part. Let's combine. Combine like terms. So this becomes 5 plus 2, 7. 3i minus 7i is minus 4i. Okay? So when you add two complex numbers, look what we got. We got a complex number. The real part is 7, the imaginary part is negative 4. Subtract complex numbers. Here's another one. 2 minus 6i minus 4 minus 15i. So I'm subtracting complex numbers. Okay? Before I subtract, I better distribute. Okay, subtracting complex numbers, distribution, and we have 2 minus 4. Okay, let me take a step back. So let's distribute the negative. So 2 minus 6i and distribute. Minus 4, distribute, plus 15i. Okay. All right. Let's combine like terms. 2 minus 4, negative 2. Negative 6i negative 6i plus 15i. What's negative 6i plus 15i? Plus 9i. You subtract two complex numbers, you get a complex number. Okay. All right, very good. Excellent. Okay. Let's multiply complex numbers. Multiply complex numbers. By the way, okay, complex numbers has a definition that's like this, okay? The definition that we need to remember for complex number is the following. We need to remember this definition. I squared equals -1. Okay? Don't forget that. Now, if you take the square root of both sides, all right, we can also say that I equals to the square root of -1. All right. Very good. Okay, let's not forget those definitions, okay? Now let's go back and let's multiply complex numbers. Multiplying complex numbers. So let me take 5 plus 3i and I'm gonna multiply it with -2 plus 4i. Okay? Here we have to FOIL. We must FOIL. So by foiling, first, outer, inner, and last. By FOIL, first, 5 times -2 is -10. That's first. 5 times 4i, what's 5? That's outer. First, this is first. First. And now I'm doing outer. This is outer. 5 times, okay? So I did first 5 times -2 is -10. And then outer 5 times 4i is what? 20i. Okay, outer. How about inner? This is inner. Right there, that's inner. I for inner. 3i times -2 is what? -6i. That's inner. Look, FOIL. Inner. And last. This is last. Last, right there. Last. Okay. What's 3i times 4i? Plus 12i squared. Okay. Now we're going to combine like terms. Okay. You see this? -10. You see those two? They go together. What is that? Was 20i minus 6i? 14i. And you see this 12i squared? Didn't we say that I squared is -1? So this is 12 times -1. What's 12 times -1? Because this I squared is -1, look. What's 12 times -1? Minus 12. Okay. And now, add the -10 plus -12. And what is that? -22 plus 14i. Hey, look, guys. You multiply two complex numbers, you get a complex number. Yeah. By the way, -22 is the real part. 14 is the imaginary part. Okay. Let's divide complex numbers, guys. Dividing complex numbers. Okay. Division. Dividing complex numbers. Let's do the following. Okay. Now the question is, how do you know when you have a complex number? That's a good question. How do we know when we have a complex number? Okay. Let me give you this. Watch this. 2 minus the square root of -4 divided by 3 plus the square root of negative 9. Hey guys, whenever you see the square root and this radicand is negative, that's a complex number. This is a complex number because look at this, the square root of negative. That's another complex number. Listen guys, before we do any division or multiplication, let's get rid of the negative under the radical. Okay? Let me show you how. Okay? So I need to erase this because I'm running out of room. And here we go. Okay, let's not forget about this, that definition. Okay, first I'm gonna make this top, I'm gonna express it as a complex number. It's a complex number because of this negative 4 in the radicand. Okay, so watch this. Two minus the square root of negative 4. I'm gonna make this into a complex number and I'm gonna do it slow so you guys can see. Okay, watch this. This negative 4, this becomes 2 minus the square root of this negative 4 becomes negative 1 times 4. Okay. And you see this negative 1? This negative 1 is I squared. Okay. So this is 2 minus the square root of, this is I squared, okay? This is I squared times 4. Okay? And so now, you could say I squared times 4, or you could say 4 times I squared, 4I squared. What is the square root of 4? 2. What is the square root of I squared? I. So this is 2 minus 2I. So this is 2 minus 2I. Similarly, what is this going to be? You could do that again, okay? This is going to be 3 plus 3I. By the same token, if you don't believe me, just do it. This is 3 plus the square root of negative 9 equals to what? 3 plus the square root of negative 1 times 9. And this is 3 plus the square root of, this negative 1 is I squared. I squared times 9. And so this is 3 plus, the square root of 9 is 3, and the square root of I squared is I. Now, to divide complex numbers, guys, to divide complex numbers, you multiply top and bottom by the conjugate of the denominator. Okay, let me get my blue pen, okay? Let me get my blue pen right away. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by the conjugate of this denominator. That's the way we divide complex numbers. So multiply this by, what is the conjugate of this? The conjugate. Just change the sign. 3 plus 3I, do it to the bottom, and also do it to the top. 3 plus, oh, I'm sorry, I said conjugate, right? I made a mistake. So, change the sign. The conjugate, you change the sign. So I'm making a mistake. You see that? to get the conjugate, I'm multiplying it by the conjugate. Conjugate. I just changed the sign. This is minus, and this is minus. So those two are conjugates. So you multiply top and bottom by the conjugate of the denominator. There you go. Okay, we're ready. The top, I'm gonna FOIL. The bottom, I'm gonna FOIL. And I'm gonna go here. So this equals to what? Let me see, FOIL. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times negative 3i, negative 6i. Negative 2i times 3, negative 6i. Negative 2i times negative 3i plus 6i squared. So let me do that again. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay. 2 times negative 3i is negative 6i. Negative 2i times 3 is negative 6i. Negative 2i times negative 3i is positive 6i squared. Do the bottom. Do the bottom. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times negative 3i is negative 9i. 3i times 3 is plus 9i. 3i times negative 3i is minus 9i squared. FOIL. Simplify. All right. Simplify. That's a 6. That's a minus 12i. Don't forget, I squared is negative 1. So it's negative 1 times 6. Minus 6. Divided by the bottom. The bottom. This one cancels that one. This is I squared. I squared is negative 1. Look. What's the negative 1 times negative 9? Plus 9. So this is 9 plus 9. And guys, this would always happen. Whenever you multiply top and bottom by the conjugate of the denominator, it's going to get rid of the radical, not the radical, the complex number in the denominator. Look what happened. Okay. So what do we get now? This 6 cancels the 6. Yep. What do we get? Minus 12i divided by what? 18. Simplify. 6 goes into 12. Minus 2. 6 goes into 18. 3. I. Okay? I. And that's the answer. Okay? So these are complex numbers, okay? I'm going to take a small break, then we'll come back, okay? All right. See you in a bit.